Isn't it weird how it starts like far away and then it goes boom, like straight up on your face?
Good morning!
And welcome to where you are right now.
Happy Flex Friday, everybody.
This is true. I have yet to drop my flex in the team chat.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Today is Friday, October 14th, 2022, and we are coming at you with another Q&A where we will be answering any and all of your questions.
Any or all.
And if you're joining us for the very first time, it is very great to have you here. Just go ahead and drop a 1 so that we can see you if this is your first time. If this is your more than first time, then go ahead and drop an R for regular so that we can see you as well. Before we get into today's questions, just a couple of reminders and a few housekeeping things. First thing is, in the case that you don't know this already, we do have another round of the Transformation Kickstart Challenge coming up in just 10 days. Let the countdown begin.
Less than 2 weeks.
So if you haven't already registered, make it a point to do so. It doesn't matter, like where you're at in the community. If you're brand new, maybe you're feeling a little bit intimidated, this will allow you to increase your level of confidence in you, and it will allow you to see what it is that you're actually capable of. All you got to do to get yourself signed up is just go to www.erinandsarit.com/TKC.
Okay. Most of the people, though, let's be real, that we're talking to are already signed up for the TKC. That's how they found us. Welcome. Here's what I want to say to you. Commit yourself to showing up, because it breaks my little heart how many people quit before they even give themselves a chance. So there might be uncertainty. You're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do. I don't know what's going on. Fine. What's the worst thing that's going to happen if you show up for the first live call? You might quit on yourself because you're like, I just don't have the time. It's probably a huge one. Okay? Just commit yourself to the first day. That's it. 1 day at a time. Because if you quit before you start, how much of a chance do you have? So, that's what I would like to say there.
Yes.
Just commit yourself to showing up for at least the first day. What does that mean, to show up to? That means click the button on the email that you get on Monday, October 24th at 5 p.m. Eastern time. We are going live, and you will get emails and you will get text messages if you have texted us or if you've signed up for the text message reminders. And if you haven't, I don't know the number to text, but maybe we'll drop it in the Facebook group so that you can text us. But there's also emails going out and things like that. So you have opportunities to sign up for text reminders, to add the event to your calendar so that it actually goes in your calendar for you. The more you do these things, the more likely you are to remember to show up. And all you need to do is click and for that first day show up, because I promise you, if you do that, it could literally be the thing that changes your life forever.
That's what Simone said.
The thing that you have been looking for the last 10 years of your life could show up on that day, and you will never know if you do not give yourself a chance. So I encourage you to just commit yourself to the first day, okay? Put it on your calendar right now, October 24th, 5 p.m. Eastern. But I work at that time. Okay, great. The replays are going to be available for the entire week, not just 25 hours, 24 hours. They're going to be available for the whole week until we're done with the Transformation Kickstart Challenge. That doesn't mean put off day 1 until day 5, but that means when you get your ass off work on Monday, October 24th, it's in your calendar already to watch the replay. You can find it on YouTube, on our YouTube channel, Erin and Sarit. And you're also going to get an email about it. Just commit yourself to the first day. There's a very good chance that it will rock your world. Very good chance. And in 2023, like, we're always innovating, so I'm sure we're going to make some adjustments to things. And who knows if it's like, chances are it's never always going to be the same thing. For one, it's never the same even if we have the same structure. But like, things change over time too. So like, experience what other people have had such great experiences in before things go away or change, and then you no longer have that opportunity. Because the window of opportunity only stays open for so long. And if you're scared and so you don't do anything, or if you don't do anything because you're uncertain about something, if you don't do anything because you don't know everything yet, if you don't do anything because it's not going to be perfect, or you're waiting for everything to be perfect, or for the stars to align, or for you to have the right amount of time, or enough time, that window of opportunity will close for you every time. You have to act regardless. If you want it, if you want to change, if you want to lose weight, if you want to feel better about yourself, if you want to have more confidence, if you want to free your mind from being obsessed about food, thinking that if I eat this, it's going to make me fat, or if I eat that, it's going to make me skinny, and so I should or I shouldn't. If you want to free yourself from that mental captivity that you have put yourself in with the help of society, I will say, it's not all your fault, then show up for day one. That's it. I'm done. I'm done with espresso. I did it.
Okay. Goodbye, everyone. See you on day one of the TKC. Okay, let's get to today's questions.
All right.
Danny, I see that you're here, my darling. Can you please drop the form so that for anybody, if you're here and you come up with a question and you want to ask us, feel free to just drop it there.
All right. Question number 1.
Yeah.
Comes from
Sherlyn Ellis. Sherlyn says, recovering from a fractured arm, what should I do with my good arm? Single arm regular weights and lefty no weight, just the motion for now? I don't want to lose strength on the right side, but need to let the left hand heal. No push, pull, lift more than 10 pounds.
I think she's recovering from something similar to me.
Oh, okay.
Okay, never mind. Fractured arm. Okay. What do I do with my good arm? Single arm weight and lefty. No weight, just the motion for now. Oh, she's asking, should I not use weight or just do the motion?
So I wanna share with you guys a life thought in return to that question. Sherlyn, I love that question because that means that you're invested in becoming better.
And not making an excuse because you've got...
I love it. However, you guys, the quality of your questions will determine the quality of your results. And this is the quality and this is the power of having, like a supportive community and mentors around you where you can ask questions. And I want to reflect to you back that same question. And, I would actually encourage you to, not make that be like your focus for your training right now. And I'll tell you why. Because if you're going to go about it now starting to train your left arm, you are going to develop some modes of compensation. And you're actually going to take away from, having symmetry. And if symmetry and alignment is what you're looking for, like if you were to cut the body in half and you want equal strength and, equal, muscle mass and all of that in both sides, then just focusing completely on one side versus the other is now going to create compensations for your body. So I'm like, is this something that you want? I'll tell you that if I fractured my arm, I will not just focus on like one arm thing. I would maybe like make it a point so that I'm able to maximize my workouts and, you know, keep symmetry in mind. I will go for, okay, like, what about lower body? What about core? Things like that, because you know what it does for you in the long run is it takes away from symmetry. And you know, I believe that long-term perspective, if you want alignment, you should always make it a point to focus on symmetry. Now if you're like, I would just like to have a good burn if I can, then ain't nothing wrong with doing a few left arm exercises here and there. But just doing left arm exercises to get it stronger, you're actually taking away from creating more symmetry. That is my opinion.
I would like to offer the other perspective.
Yeah.
Because I was listening to a podcast with Andy Frisella, Real AF, and he was talking about how he messed up his shoulder. Mm-hmm. And he's like, I trained one arm for like almost a year.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I thought the same thing that you were talking about. Like, oh, you're going to make one really strong arm and you're going to have one weak, fucked up arm.
Yeah.
But what he was saying really, like, I'm generally open-minded when offered a perspective that isn't currently my own. And so when he said, you know, here's why I did it, I paid attention and I was like, could I learn something from this? Maybe. And again, it comes down to personal preference. Like, you could be asymmetrical and be okay with it, because you can always make, it's my turn. You can always make the other side stronger again. Okay? Mm-hmm. So it's not like, oh, it's the end of the world. And one of the reasons why, or I don't know if this is true either, so you can take my word for it or his word for it or not. I'm just going to share with you what I learned from what he learned, which was that there are studies that have shown even training one side has some kind of physical benefit to the other side. It's of course not going to be to the same degree, right? But he's like, you know, it was something for me that I knew that I could do. And so mentally it was helpful for him. And, you know, so it all will go to like, what is it that you're looking for out of the workout? Are you looking for like, mentally, I want to feel like I'm working my upper body, but I can't do anything with this arm, so I'm going to do it with this arm?
Love that.
Cool. That's a great reason to do that then. You know, you might create some asymmetry. Is it the end of the world? No. At some point, you could make the other side stronger, right? You could make that side catch up by doing single-sided stuff, you know, as an accessory. Let's say, you know, when you can use it again, you've like made your one side really strong, and then you can use this side again. Maybe you do a normal workout like you would do, and then your accessory at the end is to build up the strength on that other side that was neglected. You know, the other thing is like, do you have pain? Like, in any part of that part of your body when you are doing something else on the other side? I don't know. And then, or you could get creative, like Sarit said, and it's like, think about, what can I do on both sides? Is there like, you know, can I do glute bridges? Can I do lunges? Can I do squats? Even if it's just body weight, you can't lift more than 10 pounds. I was told not to lift more than 5 pounds this week. So last 2 weeks, what I've done is box step ups. I've done Bulgarian split squats. I've done death marches. I've done side step ups. I've done, did I say walking lunges? I've done curtsy lunges. I've gone for walks. You know, it's like, I've done air squats. I've done wall sits. I've done air bike. It's like, what can you do with what you got? And maybe it's like, look on YouTube and be like, lower body exercises, and then you just do that. But yeah, it really is going to come down to a preference thing. Mm-hmm. It's not going to destroy your life if you do things with one side and not the other. You just want to be understanding that I will create some kind of an imbalance and want to go back and correct that if I want to be have equal strength on both sides.
Yeah, and I love that, because look, by the end of the day, it all comes down to intention, right? Like, when it comes to the big picture in mind, what are you going after? And also, like, what will best serve you today in order for you to be able to truck along. You know, like in my opinion, right? Like if, let's say I fractured my arm and I wasn't able to use one arm, let's say if I was going to pick up any weights for the other arm, it would maybe be like 2 or 3 times a week just for maintenance, not for growth per se, because, you know, like, look, the reality is that we all already have asymmetry, whether we like it or not, right? And especially for me, I know that because of my predisposition to, you know, like my body is rotated actually. Like I actually know that with, you know, like when we did our anatomy trains course, you know, I have rotation, so I strongly favor one side over the other. So for me, like,
you're also a tennis player.
Yeah,
so
thinking about the big picture in mind, like I know that like overusing one side over the other, which I already do on a day-to-day basis, like is only going to create more asymmetry, which will, you know, take me away from the concept of longevity. So this is why it's always important for you to know you and know what you're going after, so that you will know how to execute. And I hope that that adds value to you, Sherlyn. It's a great question.
Thanks for posting that link, Donnie.
Yes.
It's also posted every Monday on the Facebook group, she says, and pinned to the announcement. So if you ever need to find it, go to the Facebook group, scroll through the announcements if it's not in one of those like first 2 that you see, and you'll find the link somewhere in there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Question from Stephanie. Stephanie, I have said a few times through different comments, but I'm going to say it here too. I'm really excited that you're back. Stephanie was in the community for a while. Didn't see her name much anymore for a little bit, and she's back. And I'm excited. I'm thrilled. Okay, so Stephanie asks, first she says, I am a sugar addict. Anybody resonate? Anybody relate? Anybody struggle with sugar? We're gonna do a really fun video on this soon. How do I get over this without total denial of sugar sweet treats? When I deny myself, then I swing into binge eating sweets. There has to be a solution besides all or nothing. Thanks. And I'm sure you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking. But the first thing when I see this question, I want to help you to create a different identity for yourself.
Yes.
Because your identity is you, and you can never not be you. I'm going to say that again. Your identity, how you identify, is you, and you can never not be you. Even if you pretend to be something else externally, you will always be you. And whatever identity you choose, your actions will follow through with.
Yes.
Kind of the concept of thoughts become things. Like if I think I am a sugar addict, that is my identity. I am blank. That's an identity. What if you said, I'm currently struggling with sugar cravings? You've now detached the sugar cravings from who you are. But right now they're still attached to who you are. I am sugar addict. I have a really, really hard time with somebody saying I'm a drug addict, I'm a sugar addict, I'm a this addict, you're struggling with something right now. But that doesn't have to be who you are. And if it is in your mind, then you will act accordingly.
Yep.
So the first thought that I want to like offer to you would be to just, instead of saying like I'm a sugar addict, just say like I'm currently struggling with sugar cravings, or I'm currently working to overcome these cravings that I have for sugar. Because then it's not you as a person. It's just something that you're working to overcome. Now we can address it as that. Right? It's hard to change the core of who you are because it's the core. Everything else has to fall apart on the outside to change who you are. But if we can take it out of that and say, hey, look, like this is something that I'm working to overcome right now, then it's not in the core anymore. And now we can resolve the issue. Beyond that,
She joined the Raw, right?
I believe Stephanie did join the Raw.
I'm glad you did, and I'll tell you why. So, I love what you said. Now, there is a little bit of technicalities, which we'll get into, but really what it is what I call an identity crisis. And your identity is made up of two things: your thought habits and your patterns, which are just your physical habits. Okay, and
that makes up their identity.
That's what makes up your identity. So I want to isolate it in two things. And thing number one is what Erin said. Like, first thing is you need to become aware of detaching yourself from detaching your identity from your struggle. So like what Erin said, like when you say like I'm a sugar addict, you will behave as that person because you're telling your mind that you are that person, and what you tell your mind, it will become. Okay, let's say if you every single day, even if like you're completely sedentary right now, you're like, I'm fit AF, I'm fit AF, I'm fit AF. Doesn't matter like how you feel about working out, eventually like you're gonna get your ass and you're gonna go for a walk. Because you can't tell yourself, I'm fit as fuck, I'm fit as fuck, I'm fit as fuck, and eventually not work out. So if you tell yourself, I'm a sugar addict, I'm a sugar addict, I'm a sugar addict, all you're telling your mind is to focus more on that thing. So it will look out for things to focus on more, and of course you will want more of it. Okay, now sugar in and of itself is very addictive. It is more addictive than cocaine, studies have shown. So that's why it's really important for number one to...
And it's more socially acceptable.
Yes, because food is the most abused drug and the most underused form of medicine. And that's a shame, okay? So now, the first thing that I would offer you is detach from that identity. It's fair to say, hey, I am, like Erin said, I currently struggle with sugar addiction, okay? Different than you saying, I'm a sugar addict. Okay, we can all struggle with things, but identifying ourselves with it is different. Okay, like for example, there's a difference saying I am a procrastinator versus saying I struggle with procrastination. Okay, like you put your identity to something, you will want to keep on repeating it. You say you struggle with something, it's like, okay, confrontation is also step one with regards to creating change. So the fact that you're confronting it, then, especially if you join the Raw, I can imagine you're ready to do something about it.
She said, okay. I'm ready.
Yeah. So, when it comes to the mechanics of, like especially like, let's say the overuse or the abuse of any sort of...
Can I want to backtrack just for a second.
Okay.
I'm very shortly going to interrupt you because just this one point, it's a two-step process. One is detaching the thing you're struggling with from your identity. So now instead of I am this thing, it's I'm struggling with this thing currently. And then step two is turning that into a positive. I am working to overcome the thing that you struggle with. Two steps: detach from identity, turn it into a positive thing that you are working You're actively working on changing. That way it's not like, I struggle with this, because we're still kind of in the middle zone of like, I'm struggling with this thing. You might continue to struggle. Let's turn it into a positive. I'm working to overcome blank. Okay.
So, with regards to the overcoming process, and I would strongly encourage somebody, let's say if you wanted to go through that, ideally, make sure that there is somebody who's like holding you accountable to it, who's qualified, because it's one thing to get accountability from someone, and it's another thing to get accountability from someone who has overcome it themselves.
It's different when it's like your spouse or your sister-in-law or your BFF or somebody, just because they know you, versus somebody who has actually overcome that thing and helps other people overcome it.
And because I will tell you, most people struggle with it, and to get help and to ask somebody to help you with something that they struggle themselves it's a recipe for disaster.
It's like, oh, hey, I need to change the oil in my car. You don't know how to change yours either? Why don't you help me and we'll figure it out together?
Yeah, no, it's a recipe for disaster, because they are going to buy into your limiting beliefs, and you need to, if anything, get away from that, which I know you have limiting beliefs just by the first sentence that you said. Now, we all do, so that's fine. When it comes to the mechanics, you'll want to just hold yourself accountable to what is your current consumption, and that is probably one of the most difficult things, because when we want to change it, we feel embarrassed to know how badly are we doing. However, you have to know where you are from a measurable standpoint in order to start making moves that will help you to get ahead. And then you want to progress yourself accordingly, depending on what your consumption is, and reward yourself with the progression only if you follow through with a certain act for at least 7 days. So that way it's almost like climbing up a staircase, right? Rather than taking yourself from 0 to 100. And that is exactly what we do with our programs, the Raw Transformation Program and the Inner Circle. And this is why I'm really glad that you joined that program, because, you're going to gain more awareness. And I will tell you, if this is something that you have struggled with, working on it is a process, okay? And this is why, diets, for example, don't work, because they will tell you the what, they will take you from 0 to 100. We were just talking about it on our coaches rally not too long ago. There is no psychological maturity, right? And that's why there's no psychological maturity involved.
In what?
In taking yourself from 0 to 100. It's easy to say, oh yeah, I'm just going to cut out carbs. Okay, fine. And then what? There's going to be a day where a carb is going to get back to your life. Now, because psychologically you haven't matured from, that current state of thinking, you're going to get back to that same exact spot. And I'll tell you guys, that is the biggest thing with what the current weight loss industry is missing. And that is the biggest thing with regards to what the food industry is feeding you on. So the food industry is going to continue creating more products that are going to be labeled as keto, paleo, because more people are gonna go for those diets and trends, and they're gonna buy into that, because people wanna buy into a result, not into a process. Now, if you wanna really get sustainable results, you have to go through a fucking process. And that is the hardest thing with regards to anything coaching related or transformation related, because first, you have to accept what is. You have to make a commitment. You have to unhook yourself from where you currently are. That in and of itself is a process. For some people, it's gonna take weeks. For some people, it's gonna take fucking years. I'll be honest with you. It took me 10 years in order for me to be willing to unhook my old way of thinking, okay? And when I was finally ready, it took my body almost a year to really look noticeably different. And ever since then, it's like a steady uprise, right? But it's a process. So I just want to share that with you, because think about it as climbing a staircase rather than taking the elevator. We live in a society where, if you want to climb it, let's say if you want to see the view of the entire New York City, beautiful city, what are you going to do? You're going to take the elevator. That's what everybody's going to do. No, you need to swim against the stream or go against the grain, and you need to get your ass and walk up the stairs to the 120th floor, because that's how life fucking works. Through a process. Nobody goes to first grade and, clicks on a button, and before they know it, oh, here's my diploma, here's my degree. Then, what makes you think that, when it comes to your body, or when it comes to your career, or when it comes into anything that requires you chasing your freedom, that it's going to happen overnight? And that's why most people end up, cutting themselves way too short and end up living a life of just straight up disappointment, because they go, oh, I clicked on the button, the elevator got stuck at the 56th floor, so let me just get back down and let me go try a different elevator. So all you see is people going through life, going from one elevator to the next, and I'm like, dude, if you would have just taken the stairs, you would have already seen the entire view, and you would have gone to the next building and shit. You would have probably gone to the airport to see a different skyscraper, let's say in Sydney, Australia now. Something to think about. The magic happens in the process.
I want to break this process down real quick, because I want to literally give you everything that we can, and I think this is extremely valuable for so many people, because let's be honest, sugar is fucking delicious, and most of us absolutely love it. Some form of it, okay? Chocolate might not be your jam, and I think you're crazy, but some form of sugar we love, okay? Now, here's how we break it down. Sarit said, okay, I'm literally going to give you a step-by-step on how to overcome this, okay? Week 1, just record. How many treats are you consuming? Period. This is literally the process we take people through, and there's no reason for us to hold anything back. Step 1, just record. Every treat you have. No guilt, no shame. You are about to embark on the process of controlling these cravings. Okay? So there's nothing to be ashamed about. If you're at 30 treats in 1 week, so be it. This is just where you're at. It's all good. Because you are in your mind, you're taking the first step to move forward. That's the best thing you could ask of yourself right now, okay? So let's say it's 30 treats, and you're like, okay, I'm gonna reduce it by 10% for next week. That's my budget. That's gonna be my treat budget. I'm just gonna reduce it by 10%. Now you have a budget, you're like, okay, cool. 10% of 30 is gonna be 27. Or sorry, 90%. 90% of 30 is going to be 27. So I have an allowance of 27 treats this week. Sick! I still get to have 27 treats. They better be worth it, right? Okay, perfect. If you follow through with that. If you don't, you attempt 27 treats again. If you do follow through, reduce it by 10%. Okay, we're going to round up on these, okay? So instead of minusing 2.7 treats, we're going to minus 3 treats, okay? So we go from 27 to 24. Perfect. 24 treats. Are you guys following this? Does this make sense so far? I'm going to go through it, and I'm going to see how many weeks it's going to take us to get to 5 treats, from 30 to 5.
And that is if no obstacles show up in our doorstep.
This is if no obstacles show up. But even if obstacles show up, we're going to see how fast this can truly happen in a very, realistic way.
Yeah.
Okay? Because if you are eating 30 treats a week, even 20 probably still sounds awesome.
Can I share with you guys something real quick?
I'm going to go through this all the way. I'm going to go through this all the way, okay? So 20, we go from 27 to 24 treats, okay? 24 treats is the logical process. 24 treats, we're going to take half. We're still going to round up. Okay, so 24, we're going to go to 21. If you follow through with the 24 though, you have an allowance, a budget of 24, and if you stick to it, then the next week we go to 21. If you don't, you attempt 24 until you get it. Attempt 24 until you get it. And if you really struggle, I would suggest you get it for 2 weeks before you go down again. Because here's the deal. We love to eat sugar. So why will we rush through this process? Okay? Try for that, whatever your budget is, until you get it consistent. The goal is to be not miss more than 1 or 2 weeks in any of these steps, and to not miss them by a long shot, right? If you miss it, it's I went over by 1 or 2 or 3. It's not I went over by 40. So we go down to 21. If you're successful, maybe it was really challenging for you, but you were successful, so you're I'm gonna spend another week here and prove to myself I can be consistent with 21. Okay, boom. Maybe you miss a week, and then you have to do it again. Now you're on your 3rd week of 21, but you do it. And you're okay, I feel much better about it now. I'm gonna go down by another 10%. I'm at 19. Now I get 19. This is not painful. You still get 19 treats, right? Okay, so we're at 19, 17, 15, 13. We're gonna go by 1 or 2. I don't know, start dropping it down by 1. If you have, there's so many, there are 52 weeks in an entire year. Do you think you could get rid of your sugar craving in 6 months? That's 22 weeks. No, sorry, 25, 26, 27 weeks.
I'll tell you the 2 biggest struggles of people will have with this approach. Struggle number 1 is impatience. You're I'm ready to get rid of it. I want to get rid of it now. I'm really motivated, so I'm just going to progress myself to 15. And then, you progress yourself
because
to
I
15.
think I can do it. I'm motivated.
And you actually had a good week, and then, you crushed 15, and you're you know what, I'm going to go to 6. And then something happened in your life. And because you haven't been diligently working on flexing your discipline muscle.
And this is not your discipline muscle in not having treats. This is your patience discipline.
Yes. And then guess what's going to happen? You're going to go back to default. So that's
because you haven't been consistent enough.
Because you progressed yourself too fucking fast, because you're I'm ready. I know myself. I'm a go-getter. This is go-getters biggest trouble. You think
I can do it.
You can do it. You can do it, but you don't appreciate the process of building the discipline muscle and the skills necessary. Okay, this is a mental skill. Not relying on sugar is a mental skill. I don't care how committed you are. Your body will fight you for it. Okay, and that's why you have to take it, you have to be diligent about it. Or the other thing that's going to happen is you've done good, and then you messed up and you got ashamed about it. So now you take yourself away from accountability.
You hide.
Yes.
Hiding is the greatest form of.
And I will tell you, if you are running away from accountability, you have a commitment problem.
You don't want to be accountable because you're not committed enough. That might be hard
And
for some
if
people
you
to hear.
are hiding from accountability, I will tell you, nobody can help you.
True.
Until you have a come to Jesus moment with yourself and you tell yourself, you know what? I got to get my shit together and I have to lean into accountability. Listen, our coaching team will tell you guys that all the time. I would rather have somebody who's relentlessly accountable with me every single day and is showing up at a 7 out of 10 than somebody who communicates with me 1 day per week who are only at a 10. There's number one, there's no connection built that way, and that's your problem, because how you do one thing is how you do everything. And if you struggle with connection with one person, you struggle with connection with yourself, and that's why you keep on messing up. And you also are not connected to your food, which is why you end up, going for other things that give you an instant gratification. You guys, if you struggle with sugar, if you struggle with alcohol, if you struggle with whatever poor habit, your real problem is actually a connection problem.
So this brings me to another point that is going to help somebody to overcome this with this little process we've laid out. Okay. By the way, if you did not miss a single week, to get down to 5 treats in a week would take you 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 8, 16 weeks. Now, 16 weeks sounds like a lot. Like, oh my God, 16 weeks. Ugh. But guess what? Like, for the first 8 of those weeks, you still get a decent amount of treats. And your body will recognize the lessening of the processed sugar, and you will get results from it. Guarantee you will get results from it. Even though you're not going from 100 to 0 all at one time. And what were you were just talking about?
Commitment, accountability, impatience, connection.
Connection with food. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Another challenge that you can give yourself, maybe you met your budget for 1 week. Maybe you're in the week of 21 treats and you met your budget. Some of you are going to start out at like 10 or 12 too, right? 30 it's a lot of treats in a week, right? Like, that's pretty extreme. But some people are there.
I used to be more than that.
Yeah. Some people are there. And like, I'll tell you, I could eat 30 treats in 2 days if I wanted to. So, let's say you're on the week of 21 treats. And like, it was a struggle, but you did it, right? And you're like, I think I should spend another week here. I would challenge you in that week to make none of the treats that you have be while you are consuming some form of entertainment. Do not consume the treats while you are also consuming entertainment, because you are not connected. You are not attached to what you're eating. And you might find that when you connect, even with the Reese's peanut butter cup, that if you're paying attention to eating it, you find that it is easier to actually stick to the budget that you set for yourself, because it's not mindless. When it's mindless, or you're consuming some form of entertainment, or scrolling through TikTok, or watching a movie, or doing something else while you're eating it, it's easy to over consume because you're not paying attention. But what if you just sat your butt in a chair and you're like, all I have here is my Reese's peanut butter cups. I'm going to eat 3 of them because I have a budget of 21 and I'm going to town. And you just sat there and you ate them and you did not like do something else at the same time. How much more enjoyable would those be? And how much would you feel like you really needed to continue consuming after that? You're not typing.
Oh, oopsie.
Just say it. What do you want to say?
Michelle, you are very accountable to yourself. And you have a pattern of accountability to your coach, and that's why you're killing it. Okay.
Okay, let's read through some of these.
I want to share with you guys a couple of things. I actually just have a vision. I just had a vision. I had a vivid vision from, when I started my uprise. And I worked on improving my relationship with chocolate. So, like, if you want to connect with, let's say, chocolate, for example, like, chocolate was my thing, I will tell you. Like, chocolate and peanut butter all day. Like, I can happily live without pizza or burgers for the rest of my life.
As long as she has chocolate and peanut butter.
I can tell you that. And what I did is I started, like, I always do, like, these experiments with myself. And then, like, I track my patterns. And I would take a piece of chocolate, and then I would take another piece of chocolate. And
so you take 2 pieces of chocolate?
yeah, so like I'll break them apart. One piece of chocolate, I would literally just chew up as fast as I could. Like, let me get that sugar and let me get that flavor. And you know what I mean? Like sabotage mode eating, right? And
Monster mash.
And then like I'll think for myself like, oh, how did that make me feel? I'm like, I want more. And then the other one, I'm like,
it's like, how fast can I just eat it all?
Yeah, and then with the other one is I'm like, okay, your challenge is how long can you actually keep it in your mouth? So of course, in the case of chocolate, if you're playing that game, it's now like, I challenge you to let it melt rather than have you chew it.
How long will it take me? How long can I prolong the eating of this? I don't know why I think of Reese's peanut butter cups. Probably like my favorite.
Yeah, so you can totally do it with the Reese's as well. And, you know, like if anybody struggles with, you know, like overeating sugar, like just start doing that the next time you have like something sugary. Like, how long can I prolong it in my mouth? And you will see, like, if you rely on letting, you know, the chocolate or the sugar melt rather than you eat it, you will actually be able to connect a little bit more with...
My mouth is watering.
With... It's like food porn session right now. With your food, and you will be like, whoa, I feel like just with those like 2 blocks of chocolate, I was able to like get in so much more satisfaction than the entire like freaking like
bar,
1 pound Trader Joe's like dark chocolate thing.
Why you have to go into so much detail?
So
almond, sea salt, dark chocolate, 80%.
No, because
almond.
You know how Trader Joe's has the 1 pounder chocolate bar.
And Target has 1 pound Reese's Christmas trees during the holidays.
That is true. So I'll tell you, like, if you were to challenge yourself to eat an entire Reese's Christmas tree while you're only allowed to have it melt in your mouth, I will tell you that you will not want to have more than half of it. Yeah. So what's my point? My point is, like, if you just focus on connecting more with your food, even if it's like shitty food, you are going to end up making better decisions as you're walking through the process. So this is just a quick tip. And then the other thing that I was thinking about is like, look, if you've struggled with that, like, I want you to know, like, that thought is always going to be in the back of your mind. Like, I don't
know. It doesn't go away. It doesn't go away.
I know that
it hasn't gone away for me.
Not for me either. And, you know, yesterday we were recording the videos, and, you know, there were a couple recordings where we had certain foods involved. Some of them I didn't care for, like goldfish. So I'm like, whatever. But, like, you know, we had ones where there were like Twix and Snickers and Reese's and, you know, like
M&Ms
and whatever. And I was like, you know, like, I will tell you, like, that shit is not gonna like get through me at this point, because I've built so many mental like inner workings where I can tell you, like, I'm fine. But that thought is always going to come up. And I'll tell you, one way for you to like overcome it is, how can you connect with the food in a way where you don't put it in your mouth? So what did I do? I grabbed everything and I crushed it. I'm like, if I feel it, I know what it's like, but at the same time,
what did you crush?
I crushed a Snickers bar. I crushed like M&M peanuts.
I didn't
M&Ms.
know that. I didn't even see you do that.
Well, because listen, like my dark phase used to be dark, so like I know how to manipulate myself in a way where I can overcome anything food related at this point. I'll tell you, but like,
she's like, you're gonna die.
My shit is embarrassing. So like, I'm not gonna tell Erin that like when I grab every little thing that I'm putting away, I'm actually like fucking crushing it in my hand, because I'm like,
I will win.
You ain't got me, and I'm gonna connect with you anyway without you going in my body, because I know what happens when you go in my body.
Okay, I'll tell you something that I've done.
What?
I've shared this before, but when I was a personal trainer, personal trainers are not the healthiest people. or they're not as healthy as most people think. Hold on, don't move that, because
Okay.
I want to answer this question. Personal trainers, you go into the break room of a gym, and what's in there you wouldn't think would be in there.
Do you remember?
I'm telling a story.
Okay.
Donuts, cookies, brownies, leftovers from people's birthdays, birthday cakes. Like, you will think that, like, this is not the break room of personal trainers. And what I would do is somebody bring cookies or donut, like, oh my God, everybody, I brought some donuts. I'm like, why would you do that?
Do you remember when they
Hold
would
on.
do Donuts Fridays?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Here's what I did.
Okay.
I would say, these are my 2 cookies. I would grab them from the tray. These are my 2 cookies. And I'd throw them in the garbage can. And like, why would you do that? Like, they're mine. I can do whatever the fuck I want with them. You ate yours. I threw mine away. And now I'm done. I've had mine. I did what I wanted to do with them. And so, okay, the other thing this question. I want to answer. Did you move it? Oh, it disappeared. Damn it. Okay, so I forget who asked it now, but the question was, like, what if your friends are just like you? And what if they're like, you know, you're all struggling with the same thing? Like, how do you find different friends?
Hold
on. I try to be so patient when you're talking. Okay. I read actually a comment on one of our YouTube videos that's like, you know, what if, like, you know, your friends are those people who are like, well, you had this last time you were with us, or like, oh yeah, that's right, you're being healthy, like sarcastically, or like, live a little, or like these comments. She's like, what if your friends are like, you know, always saying that stuff? I'm like, your friends are a choice. Like they'd probably be pissed if they saw that I wrote that to you. And I said it in a more compassionate way, but honestly, your friends are a choice. The people you hang out with are a choice. Even if it's at work, you chose to work there. So, you know, oftentimes we get in this rhythm in our life where we think that that's what we have to do just because that's what we've always done. Mm-hmm. At any moment, you can change what you do. You can change the routine you have with your kids. You can, like, change the things you do in the morning. You can change the people who you choose to associate with or hang out with. You can choose a different career path. All of those things are a choice. So if something is more hurtful to you, you're like, no, but I'm loyal. We've been friends forever. I'm like, are they really a friend if they bring that kind of like stress and anxiety on you and they're discouraging? I would not use, like, if you look at the definition of friend, I don't think that that's in there. So, like, maybe it's a conversation you have with them where it's like, hey, when you say these things to me, like, if you really, like, that doesn't mean that you don't love or care for that person, but it's like, if that's the way that they choose to be, then what way are you going to choose to be? And is it still going to be in their presence? I don't know. Maybe you have a conversation with them and that can resolve the issue and you remain friends. Fantastic. Obviously ideal. But if they're still going to be, like, putting that unnecessary pressure on you of like, oh yeah, that's right, like, you're better than us because you're, like, eating healthy and, like, you don't do these things anymore, and they're really sarcastic and sassy and, like, almost rude, and they just make it harder for you to stick to your goals, is that somebody you want to hang out with?
You know, the last thing that I want to add is before you get there, right? I'm thinking about always add before eliminate. Sometimes you need to eliminate. However, with people, I feel like if there's a way to add something that can bring you guys both up, that will be the easier thing to do. It will also be a good way for you to see if maybe elimination or, you know, just limitation is the thing that you need to do next. And, you know, this is why we do things like the TKC.
And the live events. Like,
yes.
Connect with people who are going to make that path easy for you because they're not going to question when you say, no thanks, I don't want dessert with this meal. They're not going to question you. They're going to be like, you know what? Forget that creme brulee I just ordered. I don't need it. Like, I'm going to follow Susan's lead.
Listen, connection is currency, and like your network will determine your worth. Wow, Jesse Grant is here. Jesse, it's great to see you. It's been forever. But you know, like, you need to take a real close look at who you hang around with, because if they're all struggling with the same thing, then you be the leader and you tell them, dude, I don't know about you, but I'm ready to like put a stop to this and I'm doing the TKC. Join me. If they're like, no, I don't want to, then I can already tell you that, you know, there's a greater chance that you guys are about to go in different directions. And you don't need something that holds a lot of people back, especially women, because women are more emotional in general, is caring too much about what people think. So you end up not doing the thing that you want to do because you care more about what that person is going to say about you rather than your freedom. I'm like, dude, what do you want? Do you want freedom?
At the end of the day, what would you say about you? And if your friends are not saying that about you or for you or with you, is that going to be the best thing? Look, I always say this: if one person in a relationship is not happy, neither people will be.
Yeah.
Okay. And a relationship platonic or romantic, it doesn't matter. But you know, if you're in a position where the people you're spending time with are making it more difficult for you, and this even can be family. Obviously, you don't choose your parents. They're your parents. I love my parents. But like, when I go to Costco with my mom and all she's talking about is like the price of things and how this thing is 16 cents cheaper than that thing, I'm like, I don't care. This is the one I want. Like, I can't, there's only so much activity that I can do. And I think that like, my parents are like, not like really that difficult for me to be around, so that's not the thing. But you know, it's like even if you have people in your life that they just don't do the same things, they don't like the same stuff that you like, they're not trying to do the same things that you're trying to do, if it's creating conflict, you have to ask yourself, is this relationship still serving me? And if it's not serving you, then it's not serving them either. The other thing is, if you do decide, like, this person's just not willing to get on board with what I need in a friend, you don't have to tell them. You don't have to tell that person, I don't want to be friends with you anymore. We're not a good fit. We're not aligned, and I don't want to be your friend.
Oh, we're not aligned.
Like, you do not have to just like be mean to them. You just, you know, you take a little longer to respond to their text messages, and you just like eventually, like, you just start taking a step back. Start taking steps back. Because here's the truth, like, in your mind, you understand that spending less time with that person helps you to achieve the things you're trying to achieve. So by default, eventually, the further you step back, eventually they'll just stop reaching out to you. They don't even be mean to anybody and just be like, I don't want to be your friend.
Listen, yeah, and this is the power of community. Like, when you get yourself in here, you get yourself into an ES army. Like, the support in our community is unlike no other.
Have any of you ever been discouraged about anything that you've done by anybody in this group? Or have you ever been shamed for something that you did that you felt ashamed about by anybody in this group? Chances are yes.
Or did anybody ever make you feel guilty or try to make you feel guilty? Ultimately, you feeling guilty is a choice. But did anybody ever attempt to make you feel guilty for setting a boundary?
Nope. No way. Never.
ES Army.
Only lifted. Only
you
lifted.
know, like, however, if you truly love and care for the people in your life, get themselves into the TKC.
And if you're not coming to the live event yet, damn it, just go to shop.erinsarit.com. I don't care. If you want more supportive people around you and you want to make true, genuine connections with people, meet them in person. Go to shop. You can even like do it virtual and like talk to the people in the virtual. It's not the same, but you can still, we're going to have actually like 3 cameras virtual. So we're going to get like different angles. So if you are virtual, at least like you're going to like, we want to make it feel like you're there. But dude, like $297, yes, of course, like you have to get here and stay somewhere too. But it is going to be, it's always mind-blowing. It's always such an amazing time, and not just because like, oh, the stuff we do or the food we eat or the swag that we get or the things that we learn. It's the connections with people when you have those real life in-person connections. Do you know how hard it is then to break that bond with that person? Especially when you see them online all the time. Now you know. Now you know them. When you see their name, you're like, you go back to the moment you were in person with them and you can relive that experience. And that connection is so much deeper. You can get tickets at shop.erinsarit.com.
Yep. We hope that you found a lot of value in today's conversation. I feel like it was a really good one.
Yeah.
If you did, and you know, like one of your friends is struggling with this, be a good friend and share with them this video, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're on Facebook, you know, otherwise they'll continue repeating the same thing that they've always done, because you guys, we're all wired by patterns and you don't know what you don't know. Okay, so appreciate you guys showing up for yourselves today. Hope you found lots of value in this, and we hope to see you next time. Take care, everybody.
See ya.
Bye.